I was the company's top sales performer, but I never clocked in or out, and I rarely showed my face at the office. 2/3 of the employees had never even met me. Yet somehow, I single-handedly dominated the sales numbers, outperforming everyone else and propelling us to the #1 spot in the industry. Then came the day they handed out year-end bonuses. Jeffrey Young, the new sales director, fired me on the spot, claiming it was bad luck that I stepped into the building with my left foot first. When I demanded to know what gave him the right, he sneered at me with pure contempt. Because I'm going to be the future owner of this company. You just got lucky landing a few big clients, and that was all thanks to the company's existing customer base anyway. He continued, let me tell you something. Kieran Campbell, whoever the company gives resources to, becomes the top seller. I could not help but laugh. All they saw was that I never clocked in, but they never saw me out there day and night, running around to maintain those client relationships. The truth was, in this industry, clients were loyal to me personally, not to the company's brand. I pulled out my phone and called my wife, Melanie Gardner. When did you get yourself another husband behind my back? On the other end of the line, Melanie Gardner sounded puzzled as she asked, Kieran Campbell? What are you talking about? Before I could respond, Jeffrey Young snatched the phone right out of my hand. His tone instantly shifted to something gentle and wounded as he spoke into the receiver. Melanie, you need to get here now. Kieran's causing a scene at the office. Melanie was concerned and quickly replied, I'll be right there. The line went dead with a beep. I felt a wave of relief wash over me, thinking at least she still cared about what happened to me. It was obvious that Jeffrey was trying to drive a wedge between us. I locked eyes with him and said coldly, do you even know my wife owns this company? What gives you the right to fire me? Jeffrey let out a confident, mocking laugh. Of course, I know this is Melanie's company. I'm also the sales director she herself hired at top dollar. He leaned in close, whispering smugly, Melanie and I go back 20 years. We practically grew up together. What makes you think some bottom-feeding salesman who lives off her money can even compare to me? As he got closer, I suddenly recognized him. I had run into Jeffrey before while meeting with clients. He had been working as an escort at a nightclub, leeching off a wealthy older woman and clinging to her without a shred of dignity while pouring drinks and playing the perfect companion. There was no way Melanie would be interested in someone like that. Our confrontation quickly drew the attention of the entire office. Employees gathered around, pointing and gossiping among themselves. Someone asked, who's that guy? He's got some nerve talking back to Mr. Young like that. No idea. Does he even work here? I've never seen him before. Another chimed in, I think that's the legendary top seller, Kieran Campbell. He's the one who's never around. Oh, him? What's he acting so tough for? He's only successful because of Ms. Gardner anyway. Someone said, you haven't heard? Mr. Young and Ms. Gardner have been going everywhere together lately. They're super close. That's right. I even saw Mr. Young feeding Ms. Gardner cake the other day. Exactly. Mr. Young's the one with the real power now. Kieran is nobody. Every word felt like a needle jabbing into my ears. Jeffrey's smirk only deepened, his voice rising so everyone could hear. Kieran, Melanie is just too kind. She took pity on you and gave you a job. But you really think you're someone important? He continued, leeching off her must have spoiled you, huh? You're still here trying to act like a big shot? I'm telling you right now to pack your things and get out. My heart sank, but I kept my face calm. Over the years, I've generated more revenue for this company than anyone here can count. I'm one of the co-founders and a major shareholder. Unless I decide to leave myself, no one has the right to talk down to me. My words carried through the room like a slap. The crowd went quiet, and even Jeffrey's smug expression faltered. Just then, a young intern suddenly stepped forward. She pointed right at my face and burst into laughter. Oh, please. You've got to be kidding me. Co-founder? Shareholder? You're hilarious. You only got those big contracts because you were sleeping your way to the top and cozying up to those wealthy ladies at nightclubs. Don't act like you earned them. She turned to the crowd and added, plus, he's got most of the company's client files in his hands, so of course he's the top seller. Several other employees chimed in with agreement. Exactly. If we had access to those files, we could do just as well. The real talent here is someone like Mr. Young, who actually wants to help all of us succeed together. The intern's passionate little speech made my blood boil, and I was shaking with anger as I stared coldly at the intern. Every client we have, I earned myself. One handshake, one drink, one deal at a time. I looked around the room, meeting every single pair of eyes before landing on the intern and Jeffrey. Only people with no talent assume everyone else's success is a cheat. Her face went pale, and she opened her mouth to argue. Before she could speak, however, the sharp click of heels echoed through the office. I looked up to see Melanie storming into the office. I started to move toward her, but Jeffrey beat me to it. He smoothly pulled her halfway into his embrace, acting like they were already a couple. My steps froze. Melanie's face was full of anger as she marched up to me. Then, without warning, she slapped me hard across the face. The sharp crack echoed through the entire office. Kieran! What the hell is wrong with you? Melanie jabbed her finger at my nose, her voice cutting like a knife. Why are you bullying Jeffrey? Who do you think you are? I clutched my stinging cheek, staring at her in disbelief. At that moment, even a fool would have understood what was going on. The whispers in the office were true. Melanie had been cheating on me all along. Rage surged through me so fast my whole body trembled. I glared at her, my voice shaking. Melanie, we're married. Are you really going to throw that away for him? I worked my back off to help you build this company from the ground up. Maybe I wasn't perfect, but you really think this is how I deserve to be treated? Before Melanie could answer, Jeffrey cut in. He lifted his head and looked at me smugly. Kieran, you just don't understand women. What they need most is companionship and warmth. Do you even get that? The sight of his arrogant expression made my stomach turn. Melanie's gaze softened as she turned to him with affection. When she looked back at me, her eyes were filled with disgust. Kieran, did you hear that? Jeffrey is 100 times better than you. He's kind, attentive, and he actually helps me run the company and make money. Compared to a deadbeat like you who's never home and just messes around outside all the time, he's better in every possible way. A deadbeat? I laughed bitterly at the absurdity of it all. Back when she was running this tiny startup with just the two of us, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. I threw myself into it, hunting down clients, closing deals, drinking, and schmoozing until my legs gave out and my stomach was destroyed. The company's revenue grew exponentially right before our eyes, transforming from a failing operation into a well-known name in the industry. Melanie? She had pursued me relentlessly, crying and begging, swearing she would never marry anyone but me. I was moved by her devotion, so I turned down offers from top-tier companies and willingly stayed with her little startup. While I spent countless nights chasing clients to give Melanie a better life, she was busy rekindling an old flame with her childhood sweetheart. Everything I had sacrificed for her had become something she simply took for granted, and my absence from home had even become her excuse for cheating. I stared at the shameless pair in front of me, feeling my heart grow colder by the second. In front of everyone, I challenged Melanie. Have you forgotten that almost every single client this company has was brought in by me? Aren't you afraid that if I leave, this whole company will collapse? The moment I finished speaking, Melanie, Jeffrey, and even the sales team erupted in mocking laughter. They had been itching to take down the guy who never showed up to the office but still held the top sales spot. Who does he think he is? You really think the company can't function without you? Get over yourself. Exactly. Ms. Gardner has Mr. Young now. Who needs you anymore? Melanie joined in with a cold laugh, her eyes dripping with sarcasm. Kieran, get it through your head, you're just a salesman. And pretty soon, you won't even be that. Now that I have Jeffrey, he's so much better than you. You're nothing but a discarded pawn I don't want anymore. I felt my heart turn completely cold. All right. I looked at her calmly and said, in that case, let's get a divorce. I'll do you a favor and clear the way for you and your homewrecker. Jeffrey acted like he had just heard the funniest joke in the world. Then, he pulled a marriage certificate from his briefcase, contemptuously hurling it at my face. Take a good look. Now, who's the real homewrecker here? I picked up the document from the floor and opened it. Sure enough, it was their marriage certificate. My mind went blank. Melanie spoke with smug satisfaction. That's right. The marriage certificate I had with you was fake. I only did it to keep you loyal and hardworking, so you'd earn more money for me. Now that the company's on track, and I've got Jeffrey to back me up, you're useless. Her tone even carried a hint of relief as she continued, everything I own has nothing to do with you. You can get out now. I wanted nothing more than to tear this shameless pair apart. Nonetheless, I forced down my rage and looked at Melanie. I spoke slowly, deliberately. Fine, the marriage was fake. But my shares in the company are real, aren't they? I'm also a shareholder in this company. If you want me gone, then cash out my shares and give me what I'm owed. Considering my percentage of ownership, if I were to leave, Melanie's company would take a significant hit. However, Melanie raised an eyebrow and laughed mockingly. Shares? Who said you have any shares? Kieran, are you dumb? Those documents were all fake. I tricked you into signing them just to mess with you. Then, she pulled out a set of keys and tossed them onto the floor. But since you've worked like a mule for me all these years, I'll be generous. That old, crappy house we bought when we faked the marriage? Take it as your severance package. Now get lost. I nodded slowly. Fine. Just great. I turned, ready to walk away from this place that made me sick to my stomach. Wait! Melanie suddenly called out to me. She added, hand over that multi-million-dollar deal you're currently negotiating to Jeffrey, and leave all the client files you have as well. Otherwise, I'll sue you for stealing company trade secrets and have you thrown in prison. I had no desire to get tangled up with them any longer. I pulled a flash drive from my briefcase and tossed it over my shoulder without looking back. Jeffrey and the sales team erupted in thunderous cheers, as if my departure would instantly shower them with riches. They had no idea that without my personal involvement, those clients would never do business with the company. I watched the celebrating crowd and took one last look at Melanie. I hope your company goes bankrupt real soon, Melanie. Then, I turned to Jeffrey. A talentless fraud like you calling yourself a sales director? Just wait. You'll run this company straight into the ground. Jeffrey quickly put on a self-righteous expression and wrapped an arm around Melanie's shoulders. He said with false sympathy, don't be mad, Melanie. He's just upset about getting fired and talking nonsense. Melanie looked at me with pure arrogance and hissed, Kieran, you're just jealous. Jeffrey is 100 times more capable than you. Everyone here will see soon enough what a real top closer looks like. I laughed. That was fine by me. I wanted to see how this useless parasite she had hired at top dollar would ever become the future sales champion.